Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, is it a Remember Wednesday presented by our friends over at Fayetteville Flyco? So we'll eat some member berries here today and get into that conversation. Of course, we're also going to check the chat and the vibes that are in it, presented by our friends at Basis Health. We'll also have Who is Our Heavy Hitter, presented by HD Roofing Construction, our Alumni Hall question of the day, and of course, some random hump day headlines here presented by BetSaracen. So it's good to be here in the middle of the week. Fellas, how we feeling on this Wednesday here?
Another day in paradise, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like a paradise outside. It's just kind of the grayness is back, man. But it is what it is. We're making it through the week, and we're excited. There are good things on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a great one because there's plenty of things to have fun with, and I know we'll have some fun with that, too, because for some reason I just decided that today I was just going to have a lot of videos to play because that's just one of those days that's happening. But, we're going to get into all that and discuss it, too. And I was looking at also the weather this weekend, and it looks really nice. And it just makes me really hope that next weekend, when Arkansas has their final games against Tennessee, that it doesn't have this whole thing that's Arkansas and Fayetteville has been very known for it this season of being really terrible, or at least some suspect weather at times on the weekends of home games. And then on the games when it's away from Baum Walker, being really nice. But as of right now, at least it's looking like it's setting up to be a decent weekend next weekend for Baum Walker. So hopefully that ends up happening. But yeah, I'm about ready for it to just get to the point where we're having 75, 80 degree weather days every day, a little sunny, a little cloudy, maybe go out and play some golf, or I don't know what you guys do in your outdoor activities, mow the lawn, the fun things like that us guys, us dudes do, when the weather's nice.
Yeah, I mow the lawn when the weather is nice, but these jack-offs who mow mine are out here doing it right now. And so I'm looking forward to them tearing up my yard so I can yell at them and not pay them because it's raining and muddy and everything. But they're idiots. So congratulations to them for that. We're flying to Virginia Beach, and so we're excited for the weekend. It's going to rain the whole time we're down there. So we can't escape the weather, man. It's putting me in a bad mood. Give me 110 degree weather at this point, as long as it's not raining. I just want to be outside instead of being cooped up. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's funny you said that. I was just thinking, because it's been very, very rainy, very cloudy. I feel like once that sun does come back for us here in Fayetteville, it's going to be like 97 degrees. And so, we'll see. But yeah, at least then we can get our tan and we can do stuff outside. Looks like the weather in Baton Rouge is going to suck this weekend too. Like every day there's a high chance of rain. And so it rained the last time I went down to Baton Rouge, I guess in 2023 when Arkansas played there. They wound up finishing the series by Saturday at noon. It was just one of those situations. So we'll see how the schedule works out, but I'm excited to get down there and make of it what we can.
Yeah, as the once great Andre 3000 said, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather.
True words have never been spoken.
Yeah, I mean, that's wisdom right there, dude.
I mean, knowledge. It's scripture, honestly, at this point in time. So, but yeah, just to give everybody a heads up, as Curtis mentioned, he's going to be in Virginia Beach, and Andrew's going to be down there in Baton Rouge. So, still going to be having the show, obviously, but just may have some different backgrounds and different locations. Well, except for me, I'll still be hanging out at home. So, but yeah, it should be a great weekend, which we're one step closer to it, and that's what's going to make it a lot of fun. And I know, we had some good conversations yesterday with Razorback basketball and On 3, and man, people are still fired up about it. But shout out to Jeff Borzello, because I know it came out, I guess, technically yesterday, but he has Arkansas in the top 10. So with him and Rothstein, I feel like those are the guys that I want to roll with. And do we do the averages? Is it composite rankings we can do of the top 25 way too early preseason?
Hey, that's what we do for the the high school rankings and everything. So I think it's only fair. Although we have to include B2 the Ran in here. He says Arkansas isn't top 10; they aren't any good. So True. We'll put him in our mathematical equation too to make sure that we're fair and balanced here on this show.
Yeah, well, with that one dude Shaw having Arkansas at least below 25. Maybe they're 26 on his list. Maybe they're 40. That's going to be our outlier there. That's going to weight it wrong.
Yeah, it's going to be something like that that's going to really just throw it off. And Arkansas is going to end up being ranked 17th, and everyone's going to be mad to be like, hey, listen, maybe if we could do those things, because I'm sure you guys had it in school where maybe I think it's what it was that, and they would grade on a curve where they take the highest score and the lowest score and like eliminate them, and then you raise that points up. Maybe we do that where you take the worst rankings as far as Arkansas not being ranked, and then you take the best rankings, which would probably be my rankings at Arkansas #1, and you just take them out, and then there we go. We'll have the averages play out, and we'll know exactly what the way too early polling is really all about and what the Razorbacks are really ranked at.
We just walked ourselves into a great idea for one of these Dog Days episodes of the Pot at the Palace. I can't wait for this. We're just going to create an algorithm and roll with it, man. This is good stuff.
We're going to start going back to past seasons and be like, Arkansas was ranked preseason. Their composite was 19.1. They went to the Elite Eight. So really, the fact that we're composite 16.1, it'll be really good.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. And that's what I wish there was. I'm sure somebody has done this, but like just looking back on all the different approaches that people have had and how they handle certain, polling or whatever it is, I'd be curious to see these way too early rankings compared to just like the season leading up, like the day before the season starts rankings. Like see how much changes in the off season. Because I mean, I'm sure there's some things, like for instance with Arkansas, Carter Knox, as of where it stands right now, is not on the team, but potentially could be back. So I'm sure those are the types of things that would change. But it really makes me wonder, and that's what I'll be curious about. Say if Carter Knox comes back and we look back at these rankings, which are preseason or these way too early, and then get into the preseason, does anybody change them? Or if anyone moves Arkansas down, that would be something I'd be really curious to see if anyone goes through that, where it's like, oh, Carter Knox comes back. I don't think they're going to be as good. And that's the case. I'm going to move them down. I'm sure that'll happen. I'm sure nobody will get upset by it, but it is just kind of incredible to see people like Rothstein and Borzello have Arkansas top 10, and then some people have them in the 15-ish range, and then somebody not even have them at all. It's like, it's amazing how this, because of the uncertainty of sports and the uncertainty of college basketball, that you can have so many different people of note have very vast different rankings when it comes to one particular team.
Yeah, it seems like they all evaluate it in a little bit of a different way too. Like I know some people value the retention aspect of it more. Some people go into it where it's like, I think that this guy is going to come back, and so I'm going to do it that way. Other guys, it's like, if you've declared for the draft, then we're just assuming that you're not on the team until you come back. So it's all over the place, man. But it is going to be funny to see. That's why I really like, I listen to Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander all the time. I like their show. But Gary Parrish on CBS Sports, he does his top 25 rankings during the season. It's daily. Like he does it every single day. He updates it, which is ridiculous, but it's just kind of his thing. And even in the off season, he doesn't update it every day, but he does it like every time something happens. So somebody commits out of the portal or somebody pulls out of the draft or whatever, he does it. And he's probably already on like 14 versions of it in the off season. By the time he gets to the start of the actual season, it'll be like version 40.0 of the top 25 and 1 or whatever. And it'll be really funny to see kind of how that fluctuates. But I imagine it'll change some. And like some of these guys will drop out of the draft, and, teams will pick up, the handful of big fish that are left, and it'll move around a little bit. But for those who have Arkansas, 10th right now, and then other people don't have them ranked at all, it's going to be interesting to see what the middle ground winds up being.
Well, it's kind of a microcosm of just how we consume sports coverage these days, where we always need the latest update. We always need hey, where are things trending? Where do things stand right now? And it's like, well, I can tell you where things stand right now, but there's 7 things that might change in the next 3 weeks. Do you want me to update you? So that's why you have these guys like Borzello who do it every day. But you have all these people that are like, what's the latest with Carter? It's like, well, I can tell you the latest, but the future next week is going to determine a lot more. And so it's like, but that's how we consume things. We always have to keep track and keep a list of who's wronged us and who's done this. And we got to hold everyone accountable. And so I have no doubt that Hog fans are going to be tweeting at that guy from On 3 every week throughout the offseason. When Carter comes back, oh, still 29, huh? Still number 29, huh? They start off 3-0. Yeah, you still think not top 25, huh? I have no doubt Hog fans are going to be doing that, and it's just how we do.
Update. That's all they're going to be saying. Just what's the update there?
Update, question mark?
Yeah, update with a question mark. So, we'll get to your chats and everything, folks, because I know there's some other things we'll talk about. But I'm curious to ask you guys this, and maybe there's not an answer to it because I was just sitting here trying to rack my brain on it. Has there ever been a very high, and when I say high, I'm talking about top 10, top 15 ranking, a very high preseason ranking that Razorback Sports actually lived up to in that same season? The only reason I'm asking that is because I feel like more often than not, when they get that nod, when they get that love that they're going to be a top 10, top 15 team in any sport, it usually doesn't go that way. I think back to, the 2012 John L. Smith year, where they were preseason ranked top 10, and that didn't work out. I think about when Arkansas was preseason top 10, top 15, Darren McFadden's last year. They went 8-4, still a good team, but like not to that level. I think to when Razorback basketball just 2 seasons ago, preseason ranked number 8, I think, or at least right there. And some people had them winning the national championship. Didn't work out. And even baseball, I feel like baseball probably has the closest one. But I remember, I think we talked about it, Andrew, 2010, 2011, something like that, where they were preseason ranked number 1.
2013 with Ryan Stanley when he was coming back. They were ranked number 1, and then they led the country in ERA.
Yeah.
Didn't make it out of the regional.
Yeah, that's just, that's disgusting. So I was just curious, is there anything that comes to mind when as close as it could be, where Razorbacks actually lived up to the preseason expectation that was high? Hopefully there's a year out there. Like, even under Muss, I was feeling like the year they had Moody and all them. Like,
most of the years they weren't ranked preseason super high. So like there's been years where Arkansas outperformed it, but rarely when they were ranked highly. I will say Petrino had a couple years. In 2010, I don't think they were preseason. They were like preseason, like maybe 23 or something like that. Obviously outperformed that. 2011, I think they were preseason like 12, 14. They outperformed that as well. 2018 baseball is the only one I can think of where it's like, they started the year really high, finished the year really high. Of course, they finished number 2 in the polls that year. I think they started like 4 or 5. That's probably the closest, like most accurate high ranking prediction I've seen for Arkansas that they've lived up to. And that's in my 27-year lifetime. I landed like 3 seasons across 3 sports.
I think the Amude, Aldis Tony that year, they might have been, man, were they top 10 coming into that year?
High.
I mean, they made the Elite 8. It's just weird because Muss's teams would always do the thing where they'd really fall off in January and maybe like fall out of the rankings, but then they'd figure it out and get like a 4 seed, and they made it that far. So maybe that year, I don't know. The Muss years were tricky.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The year that Amude and all them were there, was that 2020, 2021, or is that 22? That was 21, 22, right?
And they were preseason number 16, Curtis. They were preseason 16, and they finished probably higher than that. I would imagine higher than that because they went to the Elite 8, right? So that's probably the closest in terms of Muss of them outperforming a good preseason expectation.
So was it the next year that they were top 10 then when Nick and AB and all Jordan Walsh, all those guys were there? It must
that would make sense, right?
Yep.
Or really up. Maybe it was.
Yeah, they were AP top number 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that one they didn't live up to either. But that's the deal.
Not that, I mean, what'd they finish in that year? Probably like 15 in the AP poll.
In which year? This Anthony Black year?
Anthony Black year. Like, they went to the Sweet 16. They probably were in the top 20, right?
Well, in the final rankings, Arkansas was 21st.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Lowballed them.
Yeah. Just didn't give them the love.
2 years in the last 3 years, Arkansas's made the Sweet 16 and not been ranked top 16 after the season.
Just to make it make sense. But the reason I thought about that and wanted to bring it up is because I feel like almost that's made Razorback fans in general be very weary of like preseason rankings. And it sucks because it's like at one point in time, I'm hoping maybe it's this year in basketball with Cal. Maybe this is the year where they get that top 10, top 15 love. And then here we are at the end of the season recapping it. And we're like, hey, Arkansas finished number 7, in the final AP rankings or something where it's like, all right, well, they called it. They got it right. But then at the other side of it too, it's like, man, maybe Arkansas does better when everyone's doubting them preseason and no one thinks they're going to be any good. And then they end up being great. Maybe that's the way it goes. But yeah, I just want to be ranked. I like to be talked about and I like to be in the national conversation. That's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, it was like, because we were talking about the 2012 John L. Smith year. I remember Tyler Wilson and Niall Davis went on ESPN First Take. Do you guys remember that? Like with Skip Bayless and all of that.
Very, very vaguely. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
And I felt really bad for them because there was a national tragedy that day. I think it was the Boston Marathon bombings, something like that. And they had to go on and they were like, hey, sorry I had to come on to this show talking about the upcoming season under these circumstances. They're just, that's rough. But either way, that's the type of stuff I like. I like being hyped. I like having the, SEC basketball media days when we go. Obviously last year was about Cal being at a new school, which shout out to him. Can we just again pay respects to the man? when he got up there and he got asked, I think it was Myron Metcalf, is that who I'm thinking of? Who asked him a question about Kentucky and Arkansas, and he just basically goes, "Look, man, I've been interviewed. I've answered that question like 5 times. So if you want to think about that, just go and look back at some of those interviews I did before." So
like 5 Kentucky people lower their hands. They had questions, and then he was like, "I'm not talking about Kentucky," and they're like, "Oh, that's actually."
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so but that's what I like to have. I like to have, because with Cal, you're always going to be talked about, obviously, but to have the greatness to come along with it too, and the expectation to come along with it too, will be a lot of fun. So, because what was Arkansas's preseason rank this past year? Maybe you guys said it and I just don't remember. 16. Okay. Oh, there you go. Worked out perfectly then, if that was the case.
They adequately lived up to expectations. That's what they did.
That's right. Went
exactly as planned this year.
Exactly right. So, but all right. So we're going to get to, we'll remember Wednesday action. We'll talk about all the things going on here on the show, but we want to get into a little bit of the vibe check here on the chat. And that's presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits at the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. Basis Health, they are here for you when and where you need them the most. They are forward thinking and they have it all going on there at Basis Health, and they can really help you out and making it easier for you. So you can learn more at basishealth.org today. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I still don't have it pulled up yet, but don't worry. We'll get you some horns. We'll get you some horns there, Logan. Appreciate the super chat where he just says, "Good day, Logan K," or that hundo super chat. We really appreciate you, Logan, the big man, coming in clutch. Actually, I was talking to Logan about it. I guess he's getting his DJ Wagner jersey. I got him set up with it for his thing of because Alumni Hall didn't have it online. I was like, I made sure to put in a thing for him.
Listen, man, he might love DJ Wagner more than you. Logan is
I'm not going to fight that.
He is a big DJ Wagner guy. So,
by the way, he was asking if DJ Wagner was going to go to SEC Media Days. I feel like he's like minus 1150 to be one of the two guys, right?
That's got to be like 100%, right? Yeah. Because it was Adu and Nelly last year.
Yeah.
It's going to be DJ and
Carter,
probably Trevin, but I would take Carter if I was him. So Trevin's done it before, so it needs to be Carter. DJ and Carter would be solid.
Trevin also not a good interview.
Imagine this is true. Imagine the sound bites we get from Carter at SEC Media Day. I mean,
man, we look around the gym, the room, and he's like, "Nobody in here can guard me." I see those two guys from Florida sitting over there; they suck.
Yeah, or he'll see. I really hope he wouldn't do it because I think he's too nice. But it would be kind of cool if he, saw somebody like Jeff Goodman in there raising his hand, asking a question. He'd be like, "I ain't talking to you, man. You talk crazy about me. I ain't talking to you." Next question.
They could do that. Let's. You look over across the podium. Sometimes they have two different teams represented at the same time, where they kind of, how they spread them out over there. Like if Arkansas and Florida were at the same time and Boogie's on the podium over there for Florida, Knox is just staring a hole through his head. Sign me up for that kind of stuff, man.
That's right. I'd be for it.
Logan says take Nick Pringle. He was there last year.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Nick Pringle was there repping South Carolina. So
Nick Pringle has seen what Birmingham has to offer. He's not going to sign up to go.
Well, I can tell you the only thing that I care about, honestly, when we go to SEC Basketball Media Days is just to get a follow-up to the Dennis Gates, John Calipari dap up and seeing if it's as strong and as powerful as it was last time.
That was something, man.
Yeah. I mean, you would have thought that they were long-lost friends. It was, maybe they are, or maybe Cal is just like, I know how to get into this guy's head. I'll just keep talking nice to him.
Cal won't be as friendly with him because he's not coming off an 0-18 season.
Oh, that's true.
A little bit easier to kind of little bro him and, oh, hey, give him a little noogie and all that. Not going to do that. They split the matchup. They're rivals now.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, I love this from Ryan, because when he talked about the Super Trevor Logan, he goes, Jesus, what does this dude do? He dropping hundos like change. Dude, because Logan's a baller. That's why. He like the fact that, he just gives us $100. Like, dude, he could drop 1,000 if he wanted to. He could drop 10 grand if he wanted to. But he gives it to charity instead. He gives it to charity. He saves kids. So he does other important stuff too. But that's why we love Logan.
He shaved off $100 from his St. Jude donation just to donate to us.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just, what are you doing with your life, huh? Yeah, exactly. So I like this from Addison, though. He says, do we prefer Arkansas being nationally disrespected to them being ranked number 1 preseason? Which is
Disrespected.
Secretly, yeah, we like the
We-
disrespect.
We talked about that a little bit yesterday, but it's when this kind of stuff happens, we get fired up and we talk about it, but secretly deep down, this is the position that we all want to be. Like we're used to being the underdogs here, like the chip on the shoulder comes natural. Being number 1 would be it would be weird until you earn it. Like if you become number 1 halfway through SEC play or something because you've been beating the crap out of everybody, okay, great. And that's why I don't mind it. Like for baseball, for example, when they were number 1, it's like they deserve to be, man, because they've been balling out. The preseason stuff, that's where I really don't like it too much.
Well, and then what it does is it creates your season to where only a few games have any real stakes. Every other game, if you lose, it's a big deal that you lost, and everyone's going to make fun of you. The lower you start in the polls, the more you kind of get to climb. It's fun climbing. It's not fun being at the top and then waiting to see when you get knocked off.
Yeah, I like the disrespect angle because it always feels like that's when Arkansas fuels the fire the most and is able to respond to it the most. Because there are some coaches that can but I guess this is the angle that's different. Cal is different, where Cal can handle the pressure because he has year in and year out. But like I think people are going to take it from Houston Nutt, but seriously, Houston Nutt, anytime they were preseason highly ranked, they never lived up to it. And I remember there would almost be a case of like relief once that was finally lifted off the shoulders. I felt like, maybe other coaches too in Razorback history didn't like the rankings or didn't adhere to the pressure very well. So when that was the case, I always was like, oh, no, don't rank as high because I know that that's not going to be a good formula. But with Cal, man, that's what he does is he has expectations, the highest of expectations, and more often than not, he lives up to them. So maybe he's going to change it all where he adheres and embraces the high pressure moments and high pressure seasons and lives up to the hype. I'd be all for it. Let's see. Also, this from the unknowns. It says maybe it's because they're not no good. What is this? Who said this?
It's just a Kentucky fan, and if they come in here and do something stupid or type something stupid like that, I just like to highlight it. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to make sure
because they not no good.
Highlighting the illiteracy. Yeah, that's what you like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? That seems like a perfect opportunity. I want to play this video. I was going to find a spot to play it, but I want to play it right now. Our guy, Matt Jones of Kentucky Sports Radio and the KSR guys caught up with Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports, Kentucky Derby and all that stuff. Well, I'm not going to play the whole video for it, but it is still pretty great because, just a couple things that may Arkansas fans be interested in.
Dave Portnoy, met you first 20 years ago. We're going to ask you some Kentucky questions. You ready to go?
Right. Yeah.
Favorite all-time Kentucky player?
It's an interesting question because I don't like Kentucky. So
but you got to have one over the years.
Then I'm like, I like this guy.
Nobody? John Wall, Anthony Davis?
No.
Carl Towns, just one.
No, I've never liked a Kentucky player.
All right. Calipari or Pitino?
Calipari.
That's all I get, like right there. Right there.
Dude, how dare you not being able to name a single Kentucky player? You're just like, there's nothing. I actually, when you were playing that video, I was like, damn, like, what? Like, I don't care about Matt. I saw this interview. That fires me up. I love when people assume that everyone in the world cares about what they have going on in the world. And then like you talk to someone who actually has stuff going on and he's like, dude, I do not care about Kentucky basketball.
Yeah. That's that was fantastic stuff. It made me very happy to see that. Especially like when the pivot from that, it's like, oh, this isn't going well. He doesn't know any Kentucky players and he doesn't like them. Okay, fine. Cal or Pitino? Calipari.
Yeah.
Just no hesitation.
What's going to happen? Was Dave Portnoy just supposed to be like a low key BBN guy that's like, oh, dude, DeMarcus Cousins, love that guy. Like, did he really think that was going to happen there?
I think
why did you think Dave Portnoy would care about Kentucky basketball?
I think he's got a horse at that petting zoo where they take the recruits.
Yeah. Gotcha. Which, like,
at the Keeneland place, I think, yeah. So I'm sure there's some kind of connection there. I don't know, but that was hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
that was great.
I wasn't going to play the whole video, but later he also referenced the infamous pizza review at the place in Lexington that we went to.
Yeah.
And he was just saying that wasn't the most infamous one. The one when the guy challenged him to a fight was, I think, one he mentioned. But just some interesting connections there and everything. So it made me wonder. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if he has Dave Portnoy, who's his favorite Razorback player is, I wonder if he even have one of those.
No, we'd probably get the exact same response.
And we wouldn't be stupid enough to ask the question, hey, who's your favorite hog of the Sam Pittman era? You know, like.
He would probably have this similar, he was talking about Keeneland, or I think that's the name of that place.
Yeah.
Like he spoke highly of that. And if somebody asked Dave Portnoy about Oakland, he would do the same thing because I know he was down there. And I went and watched his, DeLuca's review. 8-7.
Yeah.
He gave him on the score. So he would 1000% remember that one.
He also, Dave actually does like Sam Pittman a good bit. I used to listen to, I don't listen to it as much anymore, but during football season, I used to listen to the Barstool Pick'em show with him, Big Cat, and Rico. And he would love Arkansas as like an underdog. He would always be like, I'm telling you, Sam Pittman, he's going to get these boys riled up for this one. Yeah. He's obviously hung out. I think he hung out with Sam at Oakland one time. They spent a little bit of time there across paths. So it's like, I think he actually, weirdly enough, kind of has some love for the pig.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because he almost fired Mincy that one time because he went all in on Arkansas winning the College World Series when they were the number 1 overall seed and they failed, and he was so mad at Mincy. Like Portnoy was wearing all the Razorback gear too, like Razorback baseball jersey, and it just didn't work out. And he was just
a tough one because Mintz told him to. And he asked Mincy, he was like, "Hey, give me a good college baseball bet," and he was like, "Arkansas to win the national title." They were like -170. And it was like before the tournament, and by the time his shirt came in, Arkansas had already been eliminated. By the way, I see this comment here from WKRP. He says, if he knew those players and didn't like them, then he's not much. That's the point. Dave Portnoy is not a college basketball guy. Yeah. He owns a company. He doesn't he's not tapped in on big Blue Nation. That's our point. Is like, it's stupid to ask. Like, imagine going to Donald Trump and being like, hey, Donald, who's your favorite second baseman from Razorback baseball? It'd be like, of course he's not going to have an answer to that question. That's what we're making fun of.
Yes.
Was he a Celtics guy? Is that right?
Yeah. He's just Boston sports overall, but he's big on the Celtics.
Is there a Kentucky player in Boston?
I don't think so. I mean, Tatum's a Duke guy. Jaylen Brown's Cal.
No, I don't think
so.
Derek White's a Colorado guy.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if Portnoy can go way back when he talks about Boston, maybe it says Joe Johnson, got drafted by the Celtics.
By the way, I see somebody, where is it at? Somebody was pointing out, his answer is probably Pat Bev. Pat Bev is a Dave Portnoy employee. So, he probably does actually have a favorite Arkansas player.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably a good guess. And hopefully he remembers that and knows that about Pat Bev, that he did indeed go to Arkansas. Didn't end well, but he did indeed go to Arkansas.
Do y'all think Dave Portnoy knows Jordan Walsh's name?
No.
I was getting ready to say, if he's a real Boston fan, he knows.
Yeah, I think it'd be maybe 50-50 if he could pull his name. Maybe if he saw his picture, he'd be like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, maybe that'd be the case. By the way, we had a Shep here early in the chat saying Penny Hardaway was on the OG's pod with Mike Miller and Udonis Haslam, and he said that he was almost a hog. Could you have imagined Penny, Beck, Day, etc.? Yeah, that was something that was pretty. I don't know how something. Everyone should know, but it was definitely something I remember hearing about, and always one of those what if things. If like, oh geez, could you have imagined all them being there? Because Arkansas, whether people know this or not, but back especially in the Nolan days, dude, they owned Memphis. They got any player most of the time out of there, and that's why Memphis hated them. And they got great ones out. And then Penny was one of them they were trying to get, and he almost did it. So yeah,
Penny would have been a great hog.
Mm-hmm. He would have been.
He might be the head coach right now if he had come to Arkansas.
Penny Hardaway would have been a good basketball player at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could have changed a lot of things there too. But yeah, again, we could do all day. Like since we've wanted to do summer topics, man, all day of like what if and players that almost were hogs that would have been great. How cool would it have been to see Andre Iguodala as a hog or Al Jefferson as a hog? I mean, we could have a lot of fun with that too all day long. So also in the chat, Blake just wanted to say any news on that Benton kid for basketball?
Is that Burgess?
I'm not sure.
No.
Okay. No. I didn't know if that was in reference to anything specific about. I was like, maybe there's a Benton player I'm not aware of, but yeah.
There was a report last week that he was going to commit last week, and he didn't.
Oh, there you
Not
go.
not necessarily to Arkansas, but just like that his announcement was coming, and that didn't happen. So I mean, it's going to have to happen here at some point soon. But Burgess, and you guys are probably familiar with that name, but a couple years ago, this was a dude who was he was a 5-star and a top 20 prospect. He came and visited. I was going through my archives. I have so many photos of Terrion Burgess on visits with Muss and Ronnie Brewer and like all those guys at games, or it's football, basketball, whatever. He probably visited campus a half dozen times. But his recruitment really fell off, and it's weird because I mean, if you look at his, I know it's Benton or whatever, but it's on the higher levels of Arkansas basketball at least. But he was player of the year and put up big numbers, and he's 6'9", he shot 40% from three. So it's like, what the hell happened? But he's like falling out of the top 150 and down to 3-star. So I guess the development just hasn't really happened there. But for the longest, it felt like he was going to go to Ole Miss, and as I understand it, like that's just kind of really, really gone cold. And then it was like some smaller schools, I think like Wichita State and Little Rock over there. I think Memphis has been involved with them as well. And then, it's Arkansas, I think, has at least maintained contact there. But yeah, I mean, here we are in May, and the guy that we thought was maybe going to be the next big thing out of the state, he's still uncommitted.
So when he was, I guess it was when he was like a sophomore, that, like you were saying, he was like a top 30, top 40. Like he was like a big prospect in the class at one point, right?
Yeah. This time a year ago, he was still in the top 35 of his class. And then, yeah. And so, and he may, I don't know if, I'm not sure what his summer looked like last year, but I know he put up really good numbers as a senior this year at Benton. But at any rate, he's still out there. And if Arkansas wanted to make that move, we talked about it on the pod at the Palace, but I think that would be awesome. Johnny Young, good God, I see you. Okay. He got hurt. Thank you. I appreciate it. But if Arkansas wanted to take a flyer like that, I would be okay with that. Because he's a super high upside guy. He's like, he's 6'9" and can shoot threes or whatever. That would be cool. But I don't know if that's a situation that he's really looking to do. He might want to go somewhere smaller where he can actually play.
Hell, maybe in 3 years or 2 years, maybe he goes somewhere small, balls out, and then you're like, okay, hey, let's bring him home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also talking about like real quick, like with cities and stuff of like, because that's still the thing that blows my mind. If you think about some of the greatest Razorback, like Arkansas, state of Arkansas basketball players, man, some of them are from like Horace Williamson was at Russellville. Guys, name me another great big time athlete Razorback from Russellville. Besides Zach Hawker, of course, but it's just not very common. And what was it? Daniel Gaff from El Dorado. Sometimes you just get those guys that end up being great from random cities. But nowadays it's like not hating on it, just saying sometimes you go to these prep schools too, where you move out and transfer and all those things too. So, all right. Also, how am I going to bring that up? Let's see. There was, So people were talking about with Kentucky players, Boston, all that. Rajon Rondo was another one too. I guess was a pretty well-known Celtic, I think. So Kentucky player, all of that. Yeah, he was another one too. I actually hate Rajon Rondo. I root for the Celtics, but I've always hated Rajon Rondo, mainly because he came into Bud Walton Arena and Arkansas should have beaten Kentucky there with Ronnie Brewer, and everyone was saying Rajon Rondo was better than Ronnie, and that made me mad. And so ever since then, I've just hated the kid. So for what that's worth. But I tell you what, let's get into some member berries here and talk about a little Remember Wednesday presented by our friends at Fayetteville Flyco, where they're a local small business based right here in Fayetteville, where they offer apparel for outdoor enthusiasts and weekend warriors, which all the weekends are going to be nice and beautiful outside. So you need to get out in it. And they enjoy people who enjoy everything Northwest Arkansas has to offer, including fishing, hiking, biking, hunting, and so much more. They carry full line of hats like the one I'm wearing right here, because I think Sweet Arkansas gal asked which was the hat. It's Fayetteville Flyco right here. You also have long and short sleeve shirts, outerwear, and so much more. Free shipping on all orders of $50. And if you use that promo code HOGS20, you get 20% off your purchase. And you can just go to fflyco.com. That's fflyco.com. Get your fly on with Fayetteville Flyco. So for a couple of Remember Wednesdays going back, I think we talked a lot about the preseason rankings and everything. But, that I just remember when there was a time Arkansas was never even mentioned in the top 25 preseason in basketball. Like that was a long stretch. I went back and looked, guys, and I could be wrong because sometimes my research is a little flawed. But I went back and looked. The only time Arkansas was preseason ranked in the top 25 from the year 2002 up until Eric Musselman arrived was twice. Twice they were ranked in the preseason top 25. One of them being John Pelfrey's first year, where they had Darian Towns, Patrick Beverly, Sonny Weems, all those guys. And the other time being Mike Anderson with Bobby Portis, Michael Qualls, and all of that. So, but ironically enough, guys, and again, my research could be flawed, that year with Bobby Portis and Michael Qualls has still been the only year Arkansas has stayed in the top 25 for the entire season. Was that Bobby Portis, Michael Qualls team. So, yeah, for what that's worth. Just some fun little facts on you. But there was a time where Arkansas wasn't even like when these way too early rankings would have come out, I didn't give a rip because Arkansas wasn't in it. I knew they weren't going to be in it. But it's just nice to
You just
know
want
that
them to get in the tournament at that stage of the drought there, man. You just want them to get in and hopefully they can figure some stuff out. Like, a top 25 ranking was freaking icing on the cake, man.
That 2015 team was really cool because, like you say, Arkansas wasn't even coming off of a ton of success. Like they were a solid bubble team the year before Portis' freshman year. But they were, like you say, they were preseason top 25, but like, it was far from a guarantee that they were going to be good. So for them to actually, we were talking about teams that lived up to expectations. They really probably are one of the only examples in basketball. I remember that year being cool because, like you said, it was like just cool to see our number next to Arkansas basketball's name. Cool to see us not even on the bubble for the tournament. Like we just knew we were going to make the tournament. And at that point in my young life, that was not stuff I was used to. I was not used to Arkansas being not on the bubble. In fact, I would have loved to be on the bubble most years. So I remember that being like a cool year where I was like, it let my imagination open up to where I'm like, wait a minute, I could cheer for a really good basketball team. And it's just crazy because all of the program has accomplished since then. It seems like so long ago. This is 10 years ago. It's not that long ago. Like I was a senior, I was a junior, senior in high school. That Wofford game that they beat them in the NCAA tournament. I had pitched that afternoon, and so there was a night baseball game. We had a doubleheader. There was a night baseball game where I knew I wasn't going to pitch, and I had just a big jacket on, had my phone in the pocket, was checking that Wofford game. But it's cool to look back on that because like it was like the first, like one of the few NCAA tournament wins I could remember. And now we take this kind of stuff for granted. Now we kind of want to be poorly ranked, but it's cool to look back on that and be like how special that felt in that moment.
Yeah. I was looking back, and I think it was the reason Arkansas was preseason ranked top 25, or maybe I know, was retention. How about that? Because they had Kai Madden coming back, Alandis Harris coming back, Bobby Portis coming back, Michael Qualls coming back. I mean, they had some like Ja'Cory Williams as well as Anthon Bell, Moses Kingsley. Like they had some guys. So it was about retention.
Think about how rare that is. You have a player from the state of Arkansas who is a unanimous top 40 guy, top 25 guy, and he lives up to it in Bobby Portis. And you have a bunch of returning players who all also do their jobs, and a team that was ranked preseason that actually stayed in the top 25. That's a set of circumstances that we'll probably never see all come together at Arkansas again.
Yeah. It's another thing you probably won't ever see. Want to know how many of those players on the roster were from the state of Arkansas? 8 players from the state of Arkansas was on that roster, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And 3 of them are from Fayetteville. Fred Gully, Kiko Adar, and Manny Watkins.
Yeah.
All from Fayetteville.
In-state Razorbacks over the next 5 years.
Yeah. Like, dude, that was crazy stuff there. A lot of Arkansas love. That's why they were preseason top 25 and they kept going. It's because just Arkansas kids. That's what it was about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love the logo. You have to.
Yep. Love the hog there as well. Also, too, another random thing, too. 3 of the players were from Tennessee. That was pretty much the roster. You had Arkansas and Tennessee kids on that. But either way, another little Remember Wednesday. I'm sure we won't get demonetized for this because it's old enough. I think the statute of limitations have ended. But how about this for Remember Wednesday? You remember when Arkansas walked off the LSU Tigers in 2011?
McCann crushes it deep left field. Will it stay fair? You bet. Arkansas wins it.
That's Ryder Hill Jr. right there. Look at Jake Wise in there, John. Backup catcher Jake Wise getting in the mix.
How about that? James McCann just going yardo on the LSU Tigers. That was a controversial bat flip he just did. Did you see that? Like
Yeah,
they
that was
probably
cocky as hell.
suspended him for that back then. So, but yeah, I was at that game, man. That was incredible.
James McCann, is he still in the big leagues? He's been. He actually he's not. I know he's not. This is his first year not in the big leagues, but he's had a long little run here. This was his 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's had a nice little run because I guess this would have been his junior year. Weird that James McCann in the years that he was good was not on actually good teams.
Thoughts on the jerseys?
I love those. I like, I like the logo, the font that they have now on the pinstripes a little bit better, but those for the time period were very good.
I kind of like them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I did too. It was like there's not a whole lot of memories from those years because of just like they didn't make the World Series in 10 or 11. But I will say also shout out to my guy Trent Daniel, who was the best number 37 the Razorbacks had. See him jumping up and down the backwards hat right there. But shout out to him. And also too, I could be wrong, Curtis, you probably would know, but wasn't that the voice of the Cardinals? Or maybe he does Cardinals TV broadcast on ESPN? I don't know. Maybe you'd have to hear it again, or maybe you wouldn't even know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But for some reason, I thought it was a big deal because of how many Cardinal fans or Razorback fans. The game was on ESPNU, which back in 2011 was a big deal. And so for it to get walked off like that was great.
Was it Shannon? Who was it? I don't know. I'd have to hear it.
Yeah. Well, here.
McCann crushes it. Deep left field. Will it stay fair? You bet. Arkansas wins it.
Sounds like Danny Mac, honestly, but
okay. Like I said, I could be making it up. I could be pulling it out of my rear end, and it's not even true. So, which is very possible. But anyways,
what's funny about this series is I believe Arkansas swept LSU that weekend. I think that was the Saturday game, and they came back and swept them on Sunday, or beat them again on Sunday. That was one of only like 2 series wins over LSU for like a 15-year stretch. Like Dave low-key was owned by LSU for a while, and it used to piss me off so bad. Like I remember the 2012 team that was really good the next year went down to Baton Rouge, and we had DJ Baxendale, we had Ryan Standing, we had Kobe Suggs, we had Barrett Aston, and they just beat us. And I was just like, what the hell, dude? We are never like, we were just, that was the one time we're going to beat them. Now we kind of like, we've recovered in the LSU rivalry. Matter of fact, Dave Van Horn 8-2 against Jay Johnson as it stands today, which is cool. Both of those losses also came in the same day, a doubleheader 2 years ago. And so really Dave's been kind of whipping his ass for a while. But I remember as a kid, like hating LSU and loving Arkansas, and it pissed me off so much. We never beat LSU. And so that moment, as cool, I mean, it's anytime you start a 9th inning down 3-0 and you win, that's always cool. Anytime you beat a rival, it's cool. But like that was a special one for that reason, because we really never beat LSU back in the day.
Oh, I like the little stat that was there at the end that said Arkansas' 6th win of the season when they've been at the final at bat. So I guess it meant, I don't know if that meant 6 walk-off hit. I don't think that's what that meant, but either way, it's pretty fascinating. So, but I want to ask you guys this too, just in spirit of LSU. We're talking about players. Is there an LSU player that you like? Who's the LSU player of any sport that you like and the one you hated the most? Was there one from either or? And it could be any sport. Like, because I know, I'll give you mine. The one I liked the most was Joe Burrow. Maybe that's the low-hanging fruit, but I hated it, but I love Joe Burrow. And the player I hated the most, Kramer Robertson. I got so sick of that dude and Kim Mulkey and all that nonsense every single freaking time they played. So, yeah, that's how I feel.
I don't know if there's an LSU player that I liked. It just like jumped off the page of me. But I'll tell you who I didn't like for what felt like a decade was Darius Days.
Dude,
remember that dude? Just he was a walking double on the Hogs, man. It was insane every single time they played him. The dude drove me absolutely nuts. There were other like good LSU players that I might just like as a person maybe not enjoy as much. But when you had to face Darius Days on the court, it was never a good day. Never a good day, man.
Curtis, I need you to help me come up with this LSU big man name from about 5 years ago. He was like a 4-man who played a few years. He was like a pretty good recruit, but he was like a 2 or 3 year college guy. Not Jordan Mickey. It was just after Jordan Mickey. It's like a big man that played at LSU, and he was actually like pretty good. It's going to drive me nuts if I can't come up with his name.
So was he part of the Will Wade staff? Like, or Will Wade?
I feel like he was under Will Wade. It was maybe Will Wade's last year there. crap, what was that kid's name? But LSU's also had a weird stretch of stretch fives, like Nas Reed, who is now one of the best shooting big men in the NBA. He was at LSU just knocking down 5 threes against Arkansas. Darius Days, same thing. He would hit like 4 threes against Arkansas. They had that big white kid last year that hit like 3 threes against Arkansas. It is kind of crazy. In terms of players that I hated, I mean, there's too many to count, honestly. I will say Honey Badger was like, I had to work to hate him. I had to like work to be like, oh no, this is not cool. This guy who's just ripping the ball out of people's hands. In terms of players that I liked, Burrow definitely would be one. Odell Beckham for a while was really cool too. And one of my guests later today on the Bombastic Podcast, one of my best buddies, Matthew Beck, pitched at LSU. He's one that I liked, but I used to hate watching him pitch for LSU because I'd always want them to lose, but him to pitch well.
Are you talking about Trendon Watford?
Watford is the one. Okay. Yes. I could not pull his name. I hated him. Him.
Man.
Yeah, I hated him too. Actually, it's kind of weird. Big Baby Davis, I kind of liked.
Okay, I like Big Baby Davis too.
Yeah. And also
Final Four, man.
Yeah, and Tyrus Thomas I kind of liked, which I again hate to admit, but football there wasn't really a whole lot of them that I liked other than Joe Burrow. Take that back. I did like I just lost his name. The big fat quarterback from
Rohan Davey.
Rohan Davey, yes, thank you. I just liked him because he was just massive. He was like 300 pounds. So him, and also a player that I liked that would have been great, Ryan Perrilloux. Thought he was going to be awesome at LSU, just didn't work out for him. So just some random names thrown around there and everything. So I don't know. There's not a whole lot. Baseball, though, I could go. I hated most of those guys.
John, you know what's disappointing about Kramer? So Kramer is a douchebag. Like he's a Nepo baby who was not that. I mean, he was fine at baseball, good enough to like get drafted and stuff. It was like overhyped, but he actually like behind closed doors was like a good teammate. Like people actually like people at LSU actually did like him. Like he's one of those dudes that if he's on your team, you like him. But he was very much a douchebag. Partied it up with the 2017 LSU baseball team. Had many a night that you can't remember with the people you won't forget. You know, that kind of thing.
Also, somebody brought up, and I wanted to throw players I like. My guys, Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. I like those guys.
T-Bob might be the LSU GOAT, low key.
Yeah, he's the LSU GOAT, and he's the only one that really loves and cares about the battle of the Golden Boot Trophy.
I hated Jacob Hester only because he was the same years as Peyton Hillis. And so I was like, no, you don't have a cool white fullback. We have a cool white fullback.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. No, those are just a lot of names, man. That's what's great about the history of these programs. They play in every sport every year. And so it's nice to be able to go back and look at some of those too. Because people were talking about Tyrann Mathieu. Ben Simmons, somebody said.
I hated him.
Yeah, I hated him too. Yeah, that was a good one as well. So someone said I had to like Shaq. I guess that's okay. Well,
I'm not born when he was at LSU, so I'll take your word for it.
Can I count Will Wade as my likable?
Steve, I didn't like him when he was at LSU.
I didn't either.
I like him now, but I did not like him at LSU.
Him and Eric Musselman, good buddies.
Eric Musselman put his hand right on that belly.
Hey, an iconic photo, man.
I gotta find that picture real quick.
Can we consider Eric Musselman an LSU Tiger because he was assistant coach there for a year?
I think so.
He drew up that Keith Hornsby game winner in 2015.
Yeah, so maybe it's him. Maybe that's the case. I didn't like John Brady. Also, I didn't like that dude. Hated that dude. I was trying to think when you brought up Will Wade. Will Wade was kind of like with me and Steve Spurrier at Florida. I freaking hated Steve Spurrier at Florida, dude. But when he went to South Carolina, I loved the dude. He was great. Kind of the same thing with Will Wade. I hate him at LSU, but maybe it's because he wasn't as much of a threat. You know, now that he's away, I was like, I'm gonna be rooting for him.
What about Coach O?
Yeah, Coach O. I like Coach O. Even though he got into a wrestling match in Little Rock at a restaurant, I still like the guy. So.
All right, I'm gonna try to see if this will work.
Yep, that's
where that hand is right there.
You got it right in the bread basket.
Bro, that's what I do to Michelle every day at this point.
He just didn't know what to do with his hands. Just put him.
It looks like he's like holding when you're like moving a big bowl of like baked goods that you're trying to don't want to spill or anything. That's how he's holding it. It's kind of like the arms are parallel. It's just a very odd thing. So,
man,
that's great. That is great. Yeah. Speaking of that, apparently Kevin's over here saying, Curtis, no, don't do a gender reveal and lose your man card.
Yeah. Hey, congrats on the confirmed sex with a woman. You're no longer a man.
That's weird.
We got some of the lamest dudes ever, bro. That be oh, bro, I thought you were a man. Why are you wearing pink? You're not a man. We have a lot of weirdos that do shit like that.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
I don't think you can. I don't. There are probably a lot of reasons why somebody could be like, bro, we got to pull your man card. And I couldn't really argue it.
Procreating ain't one of them.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think that's where I'm at.
Of all the things to go at somebody for, I don't know if that's
like. I promise you, if you took about 30 seconds to consider, all right, you got to pull Curtis's man card, but I got to think of you'd find a good one probably, but I don't think that was it.
Also, it's not like it's Curtis that's like spearheading the gender reveal campaign.
Right.
But we'll see, that's just it. Because if I would have been like, I'm a man, I ain't doing no damn gender reveal. You can go out there and cut the cake yourself. And everybody like, wow, you're a piece of shit husband, dude. Like you're a horrible husband. That's just the way it goes. So
Curtis, it makes me so happy that your impersonation of the people commenting is the same, like close to impersonation of the people that would call in on the shows too. I do. Like it's just no matter what, lumped into one. It's always just you're
the entire state of Arkansas.
It's like, it's thank you. It's like just being like, if you watch Sling Blade and you see all the drunk idiots in there, just that is Arkansas sports talk callers right there. If you've seen that movie, just everybody, we don't have to effing practice, Randy. It's just that's the way it is. I like this from Addison, though. He says, Buyer saw that Andrew will drop an F-bomb on today's show. He can't. He's already used his one for the foreseeable future. So
I reached my quota. I spaced my two. I think I've thrown 2 F-bombs on this show, Inside Arkansas Live, since we started it. And I spaced them out by about 4 or 5 months, maybe even 6 or 7 months. So it's like, I'm probably out of F-bombs until like October.
Do we get like 1 per quarter? Is that
maybe I think 2 a year is what you get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say you get 2 a year, and also a one would be allowed in addition to if it was during a very like a post game emotional time. We let it slide, but just as long as I'm not getting complaints from the people like, hey, I love your show, but man, could you really clean up the language a little bit? I had my kid in the car the other day and he won't stop saying the word and everything. And be like,
that's just it though. I mean, because like I said shit a minute ago, and I'll get like 7 DMs today, and it'll be like, listen, dude, like we love you guys, but you've got to clean it up, man. Whatever. Andrew drops the F-bomb yesterday, and everybody's like, yeah, man. Ellis,
Curtis, I've gotten a couple times. There was one time I said GD on the Bombastic podcast, and someone commented and was like, dude, this is my favorite show, but I'm no longer listening anymore because you said GD. And I'm like, damn, like out entirely. So it's every now and then I get scolded a little bit in the comments.
See, and if you guys would just watch your language, you wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff. But you guys
get us on the radio when we were FCC regulated, I wouldn't have to say a word.
Yeah, if if it's in my contract.
Yeah, then we'll write it up there. But hey, we just like to keep it real, guys. Like to keep it real,
These takes are unfiltered, bro. Like I can't do it any other way.
That's right. All right, let's go ahead and get into who our heavy hitters are today. Presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. We know that our roofs are very important to us because not only do they provide shelter, but they provide us protection from storms that are coming and going pretty frequently here in the state of Arkansas. So you got to make sure that your roof is ready because, listen, you don't look at your roof every day, do you? I guarantee you don't because it's above you. So let the professionals check it out and make sure that it's good to go for any storms that come your way and that you are protected the right way. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. You can contact them today at 501-428-0429, as well as checking out their website at hdarkansas.com. And we appreciate their partnership with us here at Inside Arkansas. Okay, so heavy hitter. I feel like one of y'all are going to have this one. So if you guys don't use this one, I'll use it for later. But either way, my heavy hitter is, did you guys see the absolute wrecking that the Coastal Carolina fans were giving to Clemson pitchers in the bullpen? Did you guys see this video?
No.
It's incredible. And I want to know what y'all's thoughts on, is it fair or foul? No pun intended. But check out this and how close they are, what they're doing, and just how, if you're that Clemson pitcher, how are you not just losing your mind and getting shaken up from it?
Oh! That's down low! Come on, 4-2, you gotta fix it up! Somebody pissed in his water. Here we go. Oh! Coach, are you sure this is the kid? Coach, where's Maltman? Where's Maltman, Coach? Oh my God! Coach, are you sure you don't want me to go in? This guy has nothing!
What are y'all thoughts on that?
I love it. I got to be honest. Yeah. I love it, dude. I like that a lot.
I'm glad that you guys said it, because I love it. And I saw some people like, oh, there's just no place in the game for this. Just try to be a little bit classier and stuff. I'm like, dude, if I'm telling you right now, as much as I like to hate on y'all hog pens, if the hog pen was right there and that's how close the bullpen was, where you could just kind of look over and do all that stuff, man, it would be bad news. You would have to have the dugout or the bullpens moved to a different side, because it would be that nasty. So I thought it was great. And I always appreciate a good fan interaction to try to get into the head. Not nothing that's crossing any lines, which I don't think this crossed a line, but just doing all that, I am all for it. So shout out to Coastal Carolina and their fans, just giving them the business. As that pitcher, I don't know what he ended up doing, if it was good or not, but I don't know how you could go in after hearing all that constantly, and just be 100% in your zone and in your mode to be good to go. So shout out to them. That's my heavy hitters, those fans, just giving it to them.
Heck yeah. No, that was really, really good. I like that. I've got two. One of them I meant to do on Remember Wednesday, but it still applies here. Remember when we were in San Francisco and we were stumping for Gus Argenal to get the Arkansas State job? Well, he's our heavy hitter because he did get a D1 job. It's just not Arkansas State, but he got that UC Riverside job, which listen, I mean, they won 21 games last season, so it's a low major, mid major, whatever you want to call it, but that's pretty good. It's out there in Cali, bumped back up to the D1 ranks. Did you guys see Eric Musselman went to his introductory press conference, and of course he took a picture because he goes places and takes pictures with people, but definitely want to give a shout out to Gus, man. I text, I mean, you guys can figure it out, the schedule makers over at USC to see if they were going to put Gus on the schedule, and I didn't get a response because they should do that. I am now stumping for Arkansas to bring Gus Argenal and UC Riverside to Bud Walton Arena for a bye game. I think it would be freaking awesome if that happened, but I cannot wait. I tweeted this out the other day, but I can't wait for March Madness next season, seeing Gus on the sidelines, and they're going to have some 3 seed on the ropes. And automatically all the Razorback fans were like, you say that until it's us. Stop that, battered hog. No. We don't think that way anymore. No, but seriously, though, I wouldn't want to see Gus. I wouldn't, man. Wish him all the luck in the world, and I bet he's going to crush it over there. And I'm going to say within 2 years at UC Riverside, he gets him in the dance.
Interesting. When's the last time Riverside's been? Do you know?
That's a good question. I'll look it up while you guys go through some of your stuff. But yeah,
I just wanted to just see how uphill this battle's going to be before you put a deadline on his ass. But no, I like that Muss.
The pressure's on, bro.
Yeah, no, I like that Muss was supporting him, posted a picture of him and all that. I don't have one specific heavy hitter. I always try and like knock off a few. So one, Parker Coyle, he gets a heavy hitter. He's back in Baton Rouge this weekend. I'm looking forward to watching Parker Coyle pitch. Maybe we'll see Hunter Dietz, although at this point, I think Hunter Dietz, guys, I hate to say this, Hunter Dietz might be a figment of our imaginations. The real Hunter Dietz is the friends that we made along the way. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but Dave keeps talking about it like it's imminent. So I'm hoping Arkansas could have not one, but 2 left-handed pitchers make their return to action this weekend, which would be exciting. NBA, I will say, and maybe Tyrese Halliburton is the heavy hitter because he had the big shot last night, right? But I will say the last night's NBA game surprised me a little bit. Donovan Mitchell, I think he did have 43. I was kind of counting on that to provide my heavy hitter. The Wolves-Warriors game was a snooze fest. I turned it off.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was not into that game. I thought it was gonna be like the most exciting series ever. Like none of the stars showed up.
Well, I want to say this because to your point of the Cavs Pacers game, maybe I was just over dramatic, and it's very possible. I have never seen something as where so many things had to go perfectly right for the Cavs to lose that game and the Pacers to win. Like I have never seen that. You had to have where not only do they have to get a steal, they get a steal. Not only do they have to miss a free throw intentionally and get the rebound, they do. Not only do they have to hit a three, they do. I guess I don't know if they had to. I don't think they had to hit a three to get there. But like every single little bitty thing that had to go their way for them to win that game went that way. And I just couldn't imagine. I mean, we've seen choke jobs happen in sports all the time, but that was one of the ones where it was so stupid unlikely because they were up 7 points with less than a minute to go and lost. Unacceptable in any regard. That was insane last night.
It's pretty much what happened with the Thunder too.
Yep, they pulled an OKC.
I mean,
yeah. People are going to have to start putting a little bit more respect on Tyrese Halliburton's name now. I mean, I saw the graphic that there's been two game winners in the same playoff under 2 seconds remaining. And it's been two people that have done that in the same playoffs, and it's been him and LeBron. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe he's a GOAT. I don't know, but that was pretty impressive stuff, man. By the way, UC Riverside has never made March Madness. They've never done it.
It's time.
They've made 17 Division II national tournaments, but they've never made NCAA Division I tournament. That's getting ready to change.
Yep.
I love that. Dude, that's that actually, I mean, that's going to be something pretty sick. I mean, if they're able to accomplish that, excited for Gus, man. That'd be big time stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, to go back to the LSU discussion and the players and everything, one I didn't like is Paul Skeens, in which my heavy hitters are the St. Louis Cardinals because they own that man. They own it. Where's Logan at? Because I know he saw that last night. They're 4-0 in 5 starts that Paul Skeens has had against the Cardinals. Well, they're 5-0 in those games. They've handed him 4 of his 7 losses as an MLB pitcher. They just absolutely dominate the man. And it makes me happy to see that.
I saw that stat. Somebody tweeted it out. It said the opponent in each of Paul Skeens' career losses, it's Dodgers, Guardians, Cubs, Cardinals. Like just, okay. Hey, listen, I had to check to see if the Cardinals maybe signed Hagen Smith and Hunter Holland, because they own Paul Skeens at LSU. Right. So maybe that's what happened. But
it's just Matthew Liberatore right now. So
for a guy that's the best pitcher of all time, he sure catches a lot of L's against our teams, doesn't he?
Yeah, amazing.
He does indeed.
Yeah, amazing how that works out.
Now, unfortunately, it's like half of the Cardinals' wins on the season have come against Paul Skeens because they suck. But that's that was cool to see. So
hey, they're giant killers, but they can't take on David. That's the problem. Now, real quick though, shout out to our guy Garrett of HD Roofing. Appreciate the super chat. And he said his heavy hitters are the boys in Inside Arkansas, just some absolute dudes. That we are. We are absolute dudes. And we appreciate you, Garrett, and appreciate HD Roofing for being a part of it. Also, guys, I'm going to throw this in here before we move on. I don't know. I haven't watched this video at all, but everyone's talking about it because the Razorback softball team's going on, and Bree Ellis apparently did something amazing again. So I'm going to play this video real quick.
Okay.
I have not seen it, no idea, but everyone's talking about it, so let's see what happens. Plays comparative, like, I don't know, Derek Jeter or whoever it will be next time. So
I could be wrong. So I hope if someone, that knows more, you can correct me. I'm pretty sure Bree Ellis is like way up there in the defensive metrics at first base too. Like on top of being the best hitter in college baseball, she's also like, there's all the weird accounts that'll be like, here are the F wars of all the whatever. Yeah. She's like the number 1 defensive war among first basemen in the SEC or something stupid like that. And so, she's that girl.
Yeah, she's awesome. And it's not just because she's the sister of Andrew Ellis. It's just, she's just awesome. So, yeah.
I was laughing we pulled up that graphic yesterday, the Barry Bonds comp, and there were legitimately a lot of people in the comments like, oh, okay. She wasn't facing the pitching in the 90s. All right. The MLB, the ball smaller.
Can she hit Randy Johnson? Can she hit Randy? It's like, all right, relax.
And legit, at first I was like, oh, I saw the first couple and I was like, people are just being funny. But then there are people who are actually mad about it. I'm thinking, come on, man.
It's just like, all right, thank you. Like buzzkill overall. Just have some fun in your life, please. It's like so dumb. So, anyways, people are lame. We got a few more segments. We'll get to more of your chats here in a second too, folks. But I did want to bring up the Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by Alumni Hall. Again, we'll be there live next Friday at noon, and we always enjoy our time over there. Awesome stuff. DJ Wagner jerseys apparently are in stock. Made sure we got one for Logan. He got that double XL because he's a big old boy, and I think he may have gotten the last one, guys. I'm just being honest, but they still have other sizes in stock for jerseys. They got baseball jerseys. They got hats. They got everything. And if you check them out online at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall, you'll be able to see all that they have access to and have it shipped directly to your door in time for next week for the Razorback baseball games against Tennessee, postseason, all of that stuff. So you can check them out there. You can also go in store at 3417 North College Avenue and use that promo code HOGS20 for 20% off your purchase. It's as simple as that. It was announced today that the ACC officially have gone from 20 conference games in basketball to 18 conference games in basketball, which is stupid. I think we had a whole discussion about that. None of us were in favor of it. But I just wanted to ask the Razorback basketball fans out there, if it was put up to you, if like this poll that I put out there is officially the poll that the SEC would have, where we going from 18 games to 20 games, while also taking away 2 non-conference games, would you be in favor of that? I was a little surprised. I thought more would be here, but 56% said yes, they would be in favor of 20 SEC games, with 44% saying no.
Man, I'm pretty torn on this one. I'm a big fan of newness and something a little bit different. And so I appreciate having a couple extra non-conference games, but that's only if they do something. You know what I mean? Like if they're going to play 9 Q4 bye games or whatever, that doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot for me. So I would probably say, yeah, that I am in favor of it. I do think it would go a decent amount of ways towards I don't know. There's no way to have a balanced schedule in the SEC, and that's what's tricky. I would like to have more than they have 3 teams now that they play a home and home with on a given year, and so they can pick up to 5 or whatever, I guess. And so that might be something. Yeah, I'm sure. Why not? I mean, the SEC is really good. I would rather see, even if it was Arkansas playing, Vanderbilt twice, I would rather see that than see him playing Maryland Eastern Shore again. So if it takes one of those games off the schedule, sure.
Well, and I see this comment from David. He says, why would you want to make our schedule even harder? Every year in March, we have these conversations and we've figured out, hey, if you play a hard schedule, even if you have a worse record against that schedule, typically when March comes around, you end up being on the right side of the resume and all those metrics. It actually helps you. It actually hurts you a lot more if you, like you say, play Maryland Eastern Shore and win by 50. That doesn't help you as much as losing by 7 on the road to Tennessee. Like, as crazy as that sounds, I know fans don't realize that, but I mean, seriously, like, having a hard schedule has never prevented a team. Like, it's never hurt a team when it comes to metric and we're comparing resumes and all that. Of course, we'll see how it works out. We'll see if maybe it will break Arkansas and it'll ruin their confidence losing those 2 extra conference games or whatever. But here's my thing. Fans, every year when Arkansas plays their bye games and they play their doo-doo teams in Bud Walton Arena, and nobody shows up to the games and nobody watches the games and everyone complains and says, well, schedule real teams and we don't care about that. How could you expect us to go to these games and watch this? If you're in that camp, how would you not be in the adding 2 conference games camp? Because if you say these games suck, well then all right, let's replace 2 of them with 2 conference games. We'll have you real atmospheres and all that. You can't be on both sides. And so I thought that number, what'd you say, 56, 57, John? 57. I thought it would be like 85% yes. And also, other conferences do this too.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be too, just because I would be in favor of it just for the sake of quality, but for the reasons you said too, is like the schedule. Because it's like that way in sports. And if you need examples of it, you could use the baseball example I always laugh about when Arkansas in 2022, the year they made the World Series, it's like they had 18 SEC wins, but was not a top 16 seed. But then 3 years prior, when they went to the College World Series finals and they were a national seed, they had 18 SEC wins. So it's like, well, what was different? Well, it's like the schedule, the RPI, everything that went along with it was not as good. And I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for your high quality schedule back 2 years ago when you beat Kansas to go to the Sweet 16, my friends, you would probably not have been in the tournament. Like you were the 10 seed in the SEC. The 10 seed. And luckily you had a great great strength of schedule. Same thing this past year. So yeah, I'd love it. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great for the conference. I think it'd be great to have more marquee matchups, and it would just be a lot of fun, guys. Having, I guess that would make the first week of conference play technically starting like the week of Christmas, or maybe I guess a little after Christmas there. If
Shit, the Big Ten starts at like freaking Turkey Day, man.
Yeah, they do the thing where they're playing like they'll do like early December, like a week's worth of conference games, and they don't do it again until Jan. It's so weird. Like you play 2 conference games, then you play 4 more non-cons, then you get back into your league schedule. It's just like it's a strange thing.
I guess people just don't want to play conference games over the holidays, and so they're like, but we have to get 20 in, so we got to find a way. But I agree, like they would have to find a way to make that work, and maybe the answer is just playing them. Playing your first conference game on December 17th or whatever, which as college basketball coaches, that's their least favorite time of year because your team is all over the place. You've already gone on a road trip. Now you've got some of your kids that want to go back home for Christmas, some that want to do this.
Are gone. Yeah.
No coach wants to be playing a conference game right then. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So getting into a few of your chats, because we'll also get into our Hump Day headlines, some crazy stories going on. But I meant to get to the super chat. Chris Sullivan said it. LMAO, y'all killing these viewers. Love it. So
this is an interactive show. And so it's only fair that if you dish it out, you got to take it back. That's
right. And that's, we don't just unprompted make fun of everybody. If they try to make fun of us, we'll make fun of them back.
Yeah. Consider it like hanging out with your buddies, like me and my friends, we just do nothing but just rail on each other all the time of just how stupid they look and how stupid their opinions are and everything. Exactly. It's just the same concept. Y'all do this stuff to us, we'll do it to you. And it's all fun because we're all friends.
I will say we've got a lot of commenters that just handle it well. Like even when we pull up their comments and we're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? They're totally cool about it. Like they don't complain. They don't get butthurt, which I appreciate. Yeah.
Don't ever take it personally. It's just, we like to make sure you make an example of you. Just be like, all right, hey, if you're going to come in hot, you better have something good. You better have something that's legit instead of just assuming things. But I appreciate you, Chris. Also, I wanted to address this because Logan's like, Lord forbid I size it up so it can shrink, John.
Gosh, man. Body shaming Logan over here.
Yeah, everybody thinks that when I mentioned that, it's like body shaming them. I'm honestly just saying, I'm like, man, it's because it just shows one, Alumni Hall has all sizes for everybody, even the big and talls. Like, that was my point. But I think we've noted that we have Logan over here that's why I call him Hoss, is because he's a Hoss. And, if he wants to wear his DJ Wagner jersey and with pride, he can have a size that fits him. Or if you're just a little fella that you need the little DJ Wagner jerseys that have your sizes too. But don't worry, Logan. We still love you. I still love you. And we appreciate it. So let's see. Also, Hogball Burn just said Sean Stewart to Oregon, Curtis.
Oh, yeah. I started that because I wanted to touch on it real quick. He was kind of doing the thing yesterday, and it was crazy on the pod, but thinking, all right, if we lived in a world where whether Arkansas got Knox back or not, like if they're not going to add a Jameer Watkins or one of those big time players out of the portal, because it's not a given, there's going to be other teams out there that are going to be ready to really get involved in those big time bidding wars. They've missed on dudes or whatever, and they need to get a stud. Arkansas hasn't really been about that life so far. You know what I mean? Like in terms of participating in those bidding wars. So if they were trying to go get some low hanging fruit to fill out the roster with depth, I in the moment started going through names and I was like, oh, there's actually really not that much left in the portal. That's why I think they're going to go international. But Sean Stewart was one of the guys that I mentioned, if you're really looking for just strictly a backup 4, right? To play behind Trevin, you got some insurance there, defensive rebounding. Sean Stewart was one of them, and Arkansas has been connected to him. They were connected to him last year when he hit the portal, but nope, he's gone to Oregon. So now if you're looking at just an actual backup 4 guys, they ain't much there. So they might just be going into the season with the 3 bigs again, unless they wanted to just take another center for some depth, or if they wanted to go get an international guy. Like as far as power forwards are concerned, guys that they could reasonably get, I'm not really seeing much there, if I'm being honest with you. So
is a Duke Thero the most likely power forward for Arkansas to acquire?
No, and that's well. I see what you're saying, but
like there's probably a more realistic path to him than there are to most of these guys.
Yeah, seriously, it's kind of crazy, man.
Okay, so we'll get to a lot of your chats and get into some random headlines too, presented by our friends over at BetSaracen. It's the number one sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. If you want to get on the specials that they have for Arkansas LSU coming up this weekend, they got them. They have Razorback softball too that you can check out the bets as they are in the SEC tournament, NBA playoffs, all of it, spreads, parlays. It's the best app, the easiest app, and the most rewarding app. So do it with BetSaracen, or you can go online at betsaracen.com, but download the app on your iPhone or on your Android. Go that way too. So by the way, real quick, Trey, just wanted to know about if this is a bombastic bat that I am holding. It is not as cool as that would be. This is just like I found this, and I'm pretty sure this was from that 2011 LSU Arkansas game. I hold it upside down. That was like a collector's item. And these are the types of stuff that like you got because like the first 500 fans or whatever, you bring stuff like this back. But I think it's now considered a weapon inside of the stadium, and you can't do that. So because this thing is it's pretty sturdy. So, but no, it's not a bombastic bat. Although that would be cool. Maybe one day we can make that happen. So
You guys,
I just said a bombat stick.
that's well done. That's well done.
or a bombast stick, like a bat stick. I'm just trying. Anyways, go ahead, Curtis. I'm sure you have something more important to say. Anyways,
Not really. I just saw the thing from Thamel that the USC hired Tremaine Carroll to be their director of sports performance. So
when was he in Arkansas?
He's been he's at South Florida before, and then he was at Arkansas. He was at Arkansas before that, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of who he was under, like when that stretch was.
I don't know.
They go through a lot of those coaches, so who knows? Yeah. Tremaine Carroll, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
He's a Trojan man now. It's just it's a feeding ground for former Razorbacks,
Man, apparently they love that. There's just all these other people just love their Hogs and need to have because I did see the other day, and maybe we brought this up. I think you retweeted, Curtis, that Keith Smart's looking for a job because he is no longer a head coach anymore. So
he tweeted out his resignation.
Yeah, coached AJ DeBanza for a semester and was like, "All right, I think I'm good here."
Yeah, no more of that. But who knows? Maybe they can get the whole gang back together over there and start making that happen. All right, so just a few headlines too. I wanted to bring up. I was curious about this. Did you guys see the Auburn pitcher Samuel Dutton and what he said about Tennessee and their fans?
No.
So I won't play the video because for some reason the video it's dumb and it's like not the right format because they're poor over there in Auburn or something. I'm kidding, Quinn. I'm kidding. But either way, apparently they beat Tennessee, and the pitcher said he said a lot of things, but the main thing that he said was that Tennessee fans chirp more than any other SEC baseball team in the country or in the league. And I was just not surprised by that, but at the same time, it made me laugh because I'm like, the people that just found out they had baseball program when Tony Vitello arrived are now the loudest ones. Who would have guessed? So
that is nice. Sam Dutton, that's also notable because he transferred from LSU. So for him to say that about Tennessee fans, maybe I guess LSU fans weren't chirping him too much. Although a lot of my LSU buddies hated Sam Dutton. They were like, "This kid sucks. Get him out of here." And now he's like number 3 in the SEC in ERA. So good for him. But he also didn't have to play Arkansas this year. So I wonder if he would still feel that way. Luckily, Auburn swept LSU, so he didn't have to hear too much chirping from his former school. But I love that, man. I love that Auburn took it to him. They are the superior orange SEC team.
What have you guys which game have y'all been to in any sport where the fans chirp the most? Like of any sporting event, anything that they just would not shut up and was just constant? And it could be, I guess, if pro teams, if you want to throw them in there too. But
a lot of Arkansas games, I got to be honest with you. Like, just typically, but
yeah, Cubs fans,
yeah.
very, very loud and obnoxious. Good fan base, but yeah, as a Cardinals guy, that stood out to me immediately. And it's also a big rivalry there with the Cardinals. So like when it's in St. Louis, a bunch of Cubs fans travel. When it's in Chicago, a bunch of Cardinals fans go up there. But I would get really annoyed in Busch Stadium. They were loud and get on my nerves. College though, I don't know.
Man, it's like
Kentucky fans are only loud on the internet.
Right, and that's why I'm saying I'm asking because usually in person it's not that way.
See, I feel like LSU is the exact opposite, where they might not have the digital footprint because I don't think people like the reading and writing and stuff isn't big, but like in real life, like LSU fans are pretty hostile. Like when I was a kid, I was scared to go to Tiger Stadium. Like I didn't like going to their football games. There you hear a lot of foul things.
Yeah. I would say the only time is like, because I've only gotten in almost 2 physical altercations in a game, and both of them against A&M. So I'd say them. But honestly, what's weird? And I don't know if you saw this, Curtis, because I think you were in press row or whatever, but Cincinnati fans in that Kansas City special or that event up there in 2021,
Really?
Dude, I've never heard some of the stuff that they were saying before. Like, it was awful. And maybe it was just I was around certain ones, but they would not stop. It's my favorite type of fan where everything's a foul, everything's a travel, everything. Just when you're just standing, just like travel, foul, and one, and it wasn't and one. It's just like, I hate you all, and they were just the worst. So that was.
I've got to say, St. John's fans that when we were in Providence, they were not like nasty or anything like that, but it's just something different. Like they got the New York in them, and it was aggressive. Probably what it's like being at a like a Yankees Red Sox game or something like that. They were loud, man, and it just, you could just feel the. And again, it wasn't nasty, but you could feel a level of hostility in that arena, like from start to finish for that game. It was kind of crazy.
Probably not quite as many slurs as you'd hear from a Boston crowd.
Probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I bet Fenway's probably leads the league in unnecessary chirps.
Well, I was going to say, I just felt like when up there, they were all just like a bunch of Tony Sopranos that were like flying off the handle and yelling.
They were all wearing leather jackets, bro. It was unreal. Every single St. John's fan you'd run into would be like, yeah, I like that Pacino, man. They playing hard.
Yep.
Crazy.
I just didn't hear enough of, oh, hey, oh. I was hoping I'd hear that whenever a call didn't get having, like, hey, come on. Like, didn't hear that at all, unfortunately. Let's see. Also, I have a question for you guys. I, again, didn't see the video, and I can play because it's way too long. But apparently a Pirates fan spit on a PNC Park usher after an altercation. And then the usher ends up taking his belt off and belt whipping him.
He punched him in the face like 6 times.
Yeah, also punched him.
The usher punched him.
The usher punched him.
Yeah. There was
I did watch it.
Yeah, you couldn't. I don't think you could really make out what was said, but whatever said, it just triggered him off. But either way, the reason I wanted to bring that up mainly is because, and I'm probably going to end up hurting myself for this. I don't fight, but if you spit on me, I'm fighting you, plain and simple. Like that's like the one thing that's like, if you do that, in fact, I wish if I was, president of the world, I'd be like, if you spit on someone intentionally, like whatever happens, happens. You're not going to jail if you get your rear end handed to you. Cause that's, to me, is just, there's no lower form of disrespect.
Yeah. If you spit on someone, you have to be prepared to fight right then and there. Like right then and there.
But he did, man. He punched the dude. He hit him like 5 times in the face. And then they got to arguing again. And for whatever reason, yeah, he did. He just took his belt off and started like teeing off on this dude like a mother, chasing her kid around the house back in the day. Was just going to work on him with the belt. So
yeah, that was again. They're apparently the Pirates are investigating it. They suspended the guy. Like I don't know. Again, you can't hear what was said, but all I know is his punches were thrown. Then spit was happening, and he spit on him, and then the belt came off. So. But shout out to him where that's the way he goes. He could have had I go out again and grab any other weapon of choice. He just is like, I got my belt, just like my kid. I'm about to whip you.
Belt's a good little weapon there. I like that, honestly. I mean, obviously, I don't condone violence, but if someone spits on you and you pull out the belt, that's kind of a cool move. Yeah, no, it was a kind of a baller move, to be honest. Also, too, do you guys have a fear? I know you do, because I do, of being bitten by a snake that's venomous?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Sure.
Because this dude, according to this story from the New York Times, a guy has developed in his basement a universal anti-venom inside of his body because he injected himself with 700 calibrated doses of deadly snake venom and taking 200 bites in his own basement.
Crazy.
He has anti-venom.
That'll show him, buddy.
I was like,
Where does he live that he's so like? I mean, because look, like when you said, "Do you have a fear of it?" I'm like, yeah, sure I do, but I've never been in the situation where I'm like, oh, a snake bite is imminent. Let me be nervous. You know what I mean? Where does this guy live that he's just surrounded by snakes?
Well, according to the story, let's see. He's 57 years old, by the way, and this was happening in. Let's see. Actually, I got to check it out and see where
He
it's
must
at.
be on staff with Must to be surrounded by that many snakes. I'm just kidding. We love Must. We love USC. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Come on now. That can't be thrown out stuff like that. We're already going to get canceled as it is for other things. Why is it not? It's not. I'm reading through it, but it doesn't say where he's at. So I'll let you know. But either way, it's in his basement. Is where he's at it, and 200 bites.
That's where most people cook up their snake venom potions, is in their basement.
Yeah, it seems to be something normal people do. So either way. It said more than 600 species of venomous snakes roam the earth, biting as many 2.7 million people, killing about 120,000. And he says that now he's developed the antibody. So I guess, yeah, man, now you can just take on the world. Go out into the jungles and get bitten by a cobra or a rattlesnake, and you're good. You're good to go. So
Nothing worse than a snake, man.
Dude, I don't care. Like somebody, I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was. My friend of mine like killed a snake, and like one of the first question our friends was like, was it poisonous? Like, I don't care if it was or not. It's like it's dead.
A lot of people hit you with the, like, oh, it's the good kind. It's a good snake. Nah, I don't know. Sorry.
There's no such thing as a good snake. No such thing. Also, I have to bring this up. Have you guys ever heard of a city called Arkansas City?
I have not.
In Texas?
Apparently it's in Kansas.
Okay.
And I wonder if they call it Arkansas City. Probably not.
They better not.
But this is a great story because we can relate to seeing something like this when we were in San Francisco. Neighbors near Arkansas City came together Tuesday night to address how one-man area continues to legally walk around the neighborhood naked. Legally. The neighbors want him to stop. They say, hey, this guy can't be walking around naked. Guys, this is a real story with a real policy. They can't do anything about it because, quote, the sheriff of the county says, unfortunately, we have to show that he has an intent to arouse himself or others, which we are not able to do in this case before we can arrest him. So apparently in this county, you can walk around in your skivvies, or I guess, I don't know if skivvies is actually, you can just walk around naked. But as long as, nothing hanky-panky's going on, you're good. So that's a rule. That's a policy. Just
well, now that we know he's not a perv, I think we have to ask the question, Logan. It's not your grandfather, right? And your grandfather, does he know of this man? So I think you got to give him a call and say, "Hey, do you know about the naked man that just walks around completely legally in your town?" Crazy.
We may just wait in silence until you answer this question, Logan. Like, because we need to know.
I'm pretty sure it's not, given what we know about Logan and seeing, naked
Maybe
men.
that's why Logan was so shook up when he saw that naked guy in San Francisco. Because it reminded him of his grandpappy.
Golly.
Maybe, I don't know. So.
Come on now, Logan, man. You came in hot with that type of thing. Let's not get crazy here. But I just, again, he hasn't answered you. Okay, he says no and no, Papa chilling in the flower.
Okay. All right.
I assume that means he's dead, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that what chilling in the flower means? I kind of wondered. I didn't know for sure.
I mean, I thought so. That'd be a horrible thing now for me to say, Logan, if it's not what that means. But I assume
I really thought it was like a marijuana reference or something.
Or
if that's
like,
the case, we're sorry to hear that. It does clear him of the allegation.
Yes.
Yeah, you are good. You are good. But
yeah, we won't bring it up again, and we can now alleviate that whole thing too. So, sheesh. See, I'm trying to think if I had any other little headlines here too. John killed my grandpa. Tragic.
This is crazy.
Okay, Mayflower, the town is what he says. Okay,
Chilling
sorry that I was not aware of the lingo of saying, no, he's chilling in the flower. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Mayflower, Arkansas. Totally, that's fine. Like, come on, man.
Great Logan K's grandfather.
Yeah. It's like he was, it's like saying, oh, he's in Nam. Oh, man, he's killing. No, man, he's in Fayetteville. Come on, man. It's like,
How'd he die? World War II.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
Surprised
man.
Logan's sticking around because we went from your grandpa's the naked man to he's deceased to he's a stoner to now he's just in.
Well, not to mention after he was already also body shamed, which is crazy.
I know, man.
And all this because he gave us $100 in the super chat. Like, that's what you get, Logan.
Just Wednesday.
Jeez, dude. Man, it's great. Yeah, okay. So everyone's just like, oh, John killed it. John's even worse than Stephen A. Smith. Come on. Like, come on. Nobody's worse than Stephen A. Smith killing Nolan Richardson because he at least said he didn't do it. He said he did. He knew he was alive and well. Come on. That's what it is. Jeez, man. What a show. What a time. What a day. So, well, that's all the crazy headlines I have thrown out there. So, any final thoughts, guys, before we roll out of here for the day?
I don't know what else to say.
Before it gets in trouble.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else to say. Woo pig. I'm proud of this team. This is a proud state, and I love the state of Arkansas, and I love you guys.
There you go. It's
always interesting how when it's like, do we have any final thoughts? And whenever Andrew doesn't have final thoughts, he goes full Sam Pittman on us. I wonder why that is.
Things of that nature.
Yeah. I don't know. Why is that? Maybe somebody doesn't have.
Hey, by the way, before you leave, did y'all see me arguing with the Star Wars fans on Twitter today?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Good stuff, right?
I love that.
I was arguing with people who have not watched the show. People were like, I'm not watching that woke crap. And I'm like, so you don't like, they're like, I'm not watching it. I'm like, all right, dude, fine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. No, I have your Twitter notifications turned on, and I was like, all right, well, if he's putting out some bombastic content, I'll make sure to give him some love and retweet and all that stuff. And then I see that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to let him have that one. I'm just going to.
Our good boy, our good friend Tyler Cass, he was on my side, which is nice.
Oh, yeah. He's a big Star Wars guy. He loves that stuff too. So good to know. Well, hey, that'll do it for us, though, here on Inside Arkansas Live. Folks, be sure to like and subscribe to us on Inside Arkansas here on YouTube. Getting close to that 10K mark. And once we do, it's going to be a party. It's going to be a celebration is what's going to happen. So be sure to subscribe to us if you haven't already. Be sure to check out all of our social medias at Inside Arkansas. You can check out all the audio podcasts, wherever audio podcasts are found, whether it's the Inside Arkansas Live show, but also Pod at the Palace, the Bombastic podcast. You can check it out that way too. And you can see our website, InsideArkansas.com, for all the latest and greatest up-to-date information on all things Hogs. So that'll do it for us. For Andrew Ellis, Wells Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. And we'll see you then.